So Grindking pulled me out of retirement for this review, so let's get into it.
I got a call from Ryan and Donald. They're like, hey, we love to review the Grindking locker trucks and we want to send you a pair of the locker twos. And I was like, hold up, what? And I was super hyped on this because I really like this truck. I think it has some really good innovations for the skateboard market, and I think it has the potential to be the next best truck. However, there are some things they definitely need to improve, and that's why I wanted to make a review. But I wasn't expecting them to reach out to me to send me a whole package.
Let's catch you up to speed though. These are the Grindking locker trucks. I did a review on them because they're the newest truck to come out from Grindking. The whole idea behind these trucks is that they have a lock-in system so that it's able to lock into your grinds easier. However, I felt that when it came to skating these, they actually kind of threw me off. So I decided, you know what, let me actually modify them. And I had a buddy of mine that was talking to us about, so he modified the trucks for me. So this is what they look like. I haven't skated them just yet. I wanted to test out if a flat hanger would grind better. But I got sent the Locker 2, and I wanted to see how well it skates. And I find that when it comes to innovation in skateboarding, it's really cool to experiment to see what is really going to work.
Here we are again testing out my theory about the Grindking lockers. Thankfully, Ryan and Donald were able to actually send me the Destructor truck. Now, this is their previous truck that was made when the Grindking was reborn. Now, I did ask for a size 8. Unfortunately, this actually doesn't fit. It only fits between 7.5 to 8. And even on my current size 8 board, it just doesn't fit. So thankfully, they're going to send me another pair of Destructor in black. Now, what we're really here for is this truck, the Locker 2. Now, this is the truck that I'm really stoked on because it has a lot of good improvements from their Locker 1. And so we're going to get all into that and also just nerd out on all the stuff that they sent me.
Here's a full package of what Grindking sent me. They sent me the Grindking Locker 2s, which I'm really stoked on, and they sent me the Disruptor truck. Excited to test out how compatible these two hangers are. Something else that I think was kind of funny was that they put this graphic here, and I don't really like it. I actually figured out that this sticker fits really well here, and I'll show you how. I wanted to switch this sticker onto the truck itself. I'm gonna just put it literally right here. I think that would be really cool. Grindking is known for making these graphics onto their trucks, so even if they were to take this and make it something like this, I think that'd be really, really cool. It wasn't until they started doing that other companies started copying, but this is something I'm definitely going to do when it comes to this truck. Another thing that these guys sent me was the tool. So this is a 6-in-1 tool. So the whole idea here is that you're able to use this without taking off your truck, which I think is really innovative. I tested it out. It works really well for the base plate system, but I think the only thing that is kind of annoying with this particular base plate is this inner hole here. Now, on my original truck, there is actually a little bit of space that you can tell where the nut scrapes against the edge there. So that's the only thing that I found was different between this truck and this one, was the fact that although this was something they talked about, they didn't actually change this, unfortunately. The second thing that came in my package was these rocket bolts. What I really like about them is that you have these slits here that allow it to be very secure once it actually goes into your deck, and it's very secure. Years ago, there was this company called Randoms that had a similar concept, but it was a lot more aggressive. You literally had to hammer into your deck. Now, this is usually more popular with vert skaters because you really need that security when it comes to skating those huge ramps. But for street skating, this works really well, and I'll show you with my current deck. These are the rocket bolts on my current deck right now. As you can see here, it literally goes into the deck, but once it's secure, you don't really have to think about tightening it or loosening it anymore. If you're interested in getting these bolts, I highly suggest getting them if you just want to have a bolt that you don't have to think about screwing in all the time and keeping it very secure. Third thing I got was the bushings. Now, these are really unique in the sense they have the soft and the hard bushing. So I'm going to test out to see how well they skate. I'm probably going to try something where I'm going to use the soft on the top, and then maybe I'm going to use the hard on the bottom, depending on how I feel. But the stock bushings that come on the Grindking lockers are actually a medium bushing. I really had a good time skating with these. I might switch them out just to get some customization and see how they skate. My favorite thing about Grindking right now is that they have a lot of transparency when it comes to their marketing. They have been doing a lot of podcasts and videos where they're really taking people's feedback and improving the truck. And that's what I really like about them. It's really refreshing because it seems like all these truck companies coming out, it's like they're not really listening to the actual skaters and what they want and what they need. And I think with Grindking, now that they've come around full circle, they're actually coming up with a truck that not only serves the needs of the skaters, innovating what they do as a business. Here is the Locker 2 truck. So originally it comes with this hanger design, so they're supposed to allow you to lock into these points right here and right here. However, I find in my experience that because of this hump area, it does throw you off when it comes to grinding in crooked grinds. Now, the things that they said they wanted to change were 3 different key places. So the first plate is this area. This particular area, they added a lot more material when it came to the durability of this area. A lot of people were cracking in this particular area, and that was something I was concerned about when it came to my truck. Now, I haven't skated my truck too long, but you can see here that it's definitely a lot more thin in comparison to the Locker 2. That's something that definitely wanted to improve on when it came to this second model. Here's the first base plate version of it, and here is the second one. Now, as you can see here, they definitely added a lot more material when it came to this particular edge area right here. Some people reported that they actually had this area cracking. I haven't experienced that yet because I haven't skinned the truck that long, but they definitely improved on that area when it came to this base plate. Now, another thing that was changed was the bushing system. So they made a bushing system where the actual top bushing here is actually a lot more wider, but they changed it up here so it's a lot more tall. And I think that's really interesting because apparently it changes the turn capability when it comes to this truck. So we'll see how it goes and how it feels when I'm actually skating it. Now that we've gotten the differences between the locker and the first generation, we're going to check out all the different truck combinations that you can do with these new trucks and just to see how compatible they are with the other trucks on the market today.
As I was filming this, I realized, oh, I haven't checked the mail for a while, and guess what? Got the new disruptors. So now that the disruptors are here, we can test out my theory about the hanger and testing out all the capabilities of the locker trucks. Sick. More stickers. Thank you, Donald. And the disruptors. Okay, let's see how they fare with the other trucks. Woo! In black looks so good. So here are the Grindking locker trucks and the disruptor trucks. Now my working theory is this, that this hanger can be switched out with this hanger if I don't feel like I like this groove pattern. Now I haven't tested this particular hanger just yet, even though it has been flattened down already, but I think that it'll work really well for grinding. Now Grindking did send me the original disruptor that's supposed to fit for an 8, but it actually doesn't fit, and I'll show you. This is my current deck I'm skating, and as I try to line up this hole as if this was the center, you can see that it's not exactly flush, unfortunately. So that's why I wasn't able to actually use this, and I'm actually going to send this back. But now that I have the disruptor truck, my thing is that this actually doesn't fit for my current deck. So as you can see here, it just is too big. Like it hangs over the edge by a little bit, even when I try to center it as much. So my working thing is that I'm probably going to use this for my future deck, which will probably be an 8.1. I've been really going through wheelbases and truck sizes, and I realized I think 8.1 is the truck for me. However, this is a little bit too big. This is actually, in comparison, similar to the Thunder truck, so I think that'll be really interesting when it comes to using this truck. I do have an extra deck in the background that is an 8.25, so I think this will fit really well for that. But let's pop under the hood to really see if the disruptor truck fits onto the locker truck. So here is what the locker looks like and the disruptor looks like separated. Let's test it out and see. Nice. Okay. There's no slippage here. Not too much. Like it does fit pretty like center. I think once it's actually on, I'll be able to test it out. So let's just see what it looks like. So we'll take the top washer and put it onto the truck and see how it feels. So it's pretty flush when it comes to fitting. Doesn't feel like it's wiggling too much. Nice. So it looks really good. I love the green. It really blends well with the black. Kind of has this army kind of color. I think it'd be really interesting to see how well this fares out when it comes to changing the bushings. But overall, it looks really good. So it's definitely possible to switch the hanger. You just have to make sure that you get the 8.25. However, I feel like this is going to be a mixed match pair when it comes to other trucks. Now, I did compare the hanger of the previous hanger that they sent me. So this is supposed to be for a 7.5 to 8. But if you look at the size comparison, if I try to center it, you can see like how small this is in comparison, which kind of sucks because you would think that it would fit, but maybe this is just when he made Grindking at the time that the 7.5 could fit for an 8 back in the day, but because we've had so many 8.25s in the market that this is the size he settled on with when it came to his sizing. If you are going to consider getting the locker 2s, I highly suggest maybe holding off on that actually. I think you should wait for the locker 3 just to see how well the hanger system fits. But something I want to check out is some other trucks that are compatible. I was talking to a buddy of mine about Venture trucks, and he mentioned that he had a new pair of trucks. So he let me borrow a pair just to see if it fits. So I'm going to test out to see how well this Venture truck actually fits onto the Grindking base plate. So this is a Venture 5.25 high. So it is a taller truck. And when I set these down side by side, they do seem like the height is matching. So we'll just see if the hanger actually fits. So let's just see how it looks like. Whoa. Do you see that? Oh my gosh, it's actually flush. It doesn't like move too much either. That's very cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see how it fits. Okay, there is a little bit of space in there. Let me just see. I think we discovered something new. Oh shoot, oh my gosh.
It fits. We have a new discovery, folks. If you're really interested in the Grindking hanger, but you're not interested in this whole like groove pattern, you could actually switch with a Venture High. Huh. This opens up a lot of possibilities when it comes to the Locker 3s. I was really surprised that this actually worked. I mean, this was just a theory. I know I'd already tried it with my Thunder hanger, but the funny thing is that this is the high Venture version. So to see that this is actually compatible with the Grindking base plate is actually really cool, and definitely opens up a lot of combinations when it comes to the Grindking locker trucks. But I think what I'm really interested in testing out is how my Grindking locker modified skates, because my working theory is still this. If we can still have the Grindking locker with a little bit of a groove pattern, but not too much, I think it'll be okay. And that's what I'm interested in skating with my Destructor hangers, as well as my regular chucks. But for now, let's talk about the key takeaways for this video. Here's what we've learned when it comes to the Grindking Locker 2. That this has been improved when it comes to the hanger, the base plate, and the bushing system. There's a lot more material here when it comes to the hanger system, which is great, so it's not going to crack anymore. And they've actually smoothed out this area when it comes to the base plate overall. I'm really interested to see how well this bushing setup changes with the turning capability. I think it's still going to be the same, but I'm really interested to see how that fares out. Something that's actually really fun to be discovered is that it's actually compatible with the Venture High truck. So if you're someone who skates Venture, but you want to be able to change out your wheelbase system, but you're not really sure about the V8 system they've actually put out there, you can switch it with the Grindking Locker trucks. Now, if you are someone who has skated with Thunders and you're used to that geometry, they are actually also compatible with Grindking. Now, if you get the Team Edition, I would suggest maybe getting the Hollow Edition, because the Grindking trucks are pretty light. They have a lot of hollowed out areas when it comes to the base plate, and especially in this area of the hanger. So if you are going to get the Thunder and switch it to the Grindking Locker base plate just to be experimental, definitely get the hollow version. Now, if you're someone who's already loyal to Grindking, or you're just really used to that setup, you can switch it with the older Destructor hanger. However, you're not going to be able to skate at 8.0 or lower, and that kind of sucks because you want to be able to skate any deck that you want. But if you skate with 8.1 or higher, you should be good to go, no worries. Now, something I think was actually kind of funny in the last part of this video is that I figured out that the locker truck, the hanger does not fit with a Disruptor truck. So if you are going to do that, maybe hold off. I would suggest maybe, if anything, just wait till the Locker 3 just to make sure that Donald has everything figured out when it comes to the next truck. But overall, I'm really excited to skate this one particular thing. I think the Locker 3 could have a Locker version where it basically just has the hanger where it's a lot more level, or it's just more rounded here. I think keeping this groove pattern here makes sense, but I think having this more flat area will definitely be more appealing and have a lot more functionality when it comes to this truck. There's a lot of great innovations, and I'm really hyped to be able to part of this movement of really testing out the new Grindking lockers. It really feels like the rebirth of something new, and I'm excited to be able to contribute to that. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the wheelbases of the Venture in comparison to the Grindking locker, because I have this other working theory. Notice that a lot of pros, a lot of AMs skate with Thunder and Venture, and I'm wondering if it's because of the way that the hanger is set up. I feel like because of the geometry in that the hanger is a lot more closer on the base plate to the edge, it gives a lot more of a grinding clearance. However, I feel with the locker trucks, because you are able to switch out the wheelbase, I wonder if it's because the Grindking geometry is similar to Venture and Thunder in that it can kind of grind like them, but it has a unique turning capability of the Grindking because of the 3 tri-cush bushing system. But anyway, that's all for now. I'm really excited to test out my next skateboard setup with these trucks. So I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you enjoy your life.